Hey guys, on this episode of the Bino Salazar Jamcast, which is my first episode, I'm so excited. We finally did it. Your boy came up. But I talk about my journey. I talk about my health journey, losing a bunch of weight, getting healthy. I talk about the history of me in the music business and how I got back to my true identity. I'm so excited about it. I'm passionate about it. I'm opening my heart and I'm sharing it with you. How special is that? Check it out. Also, at the end, you get to hear Norm over here bust me out a little bit. I think I might have lied about a certain hat that I'm wearing. But anyways, I don't want to spoil it. Check it out at the end. And also, make sure you vote.
Bino Salazar Jamcast.
Music is the inspiration that drives us all. It truly is the window to my soul. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for stepping in to OTM Presents the Bino Salazar Jamcast. And I am your host, the one and only Bino Salazar. You know, my life has taken me on a journey and a wild ride from trying to make it big in the music industry and also in rediscovering my identity and most recently learning to embrace and appreciate my health. I really wanted to start this podcast and share a bunch of inspirational stories and connections to music, which really means something to me. And also the songs alongside with that. A bunch of friends that I've met along the way. And I hope that you'll follow me along this journey. There's a lot that we're going to cover. Some of it we're going to shoot off the hip, but we're going to have fun. I'm going to be transparent, and I'm going to share parts of my life with you. And I'm just grateful that you've taken the time to listen in and join me on this journey and this ride. So thank you for that. It's time to start the first episode of OTM Presents the Bino Salazar Jamcast. So let's go. So, all right. What is the Bino Salazar Jamcast? By the way, to my right over here, I have the maestro on the ones and twos, Mr. Norman Perez, OTM Presents. Say what's up, man. Yeah. He's here with me, making sure that I'm on point. But anyways, what is the Bino Salazar Jamcast? So I had this idea to put this show together. And about a year ago, and I'll tell you about my journey and my story in a minute, but I was singing. I started doing videos in the car, singing on the way to work, singing on the way home from work, because I was inspired to reconnect with part of my identity, which is singing and sharing that. And I started putting videos out, started to get a little bit of a following. And, you know, very soon, anywhere I went, people were asking questions and say, hey, how about doing this song? Or, man, you did that song. It was great. That was awesome. Hey, I didn't know you could sing. And so it started to make me have to answer questions and explain my journey in my life. And it really made me think about it. And so I did that. I did some videos singing, some clips of me doing karaoke at places and singing. And then also last year in 2020, on January 1st, I had this bucket list. I said, you know what, no matter what, I'm going to put out a podcast. And so I didn't have the production and the know-how at the time to do video. I just did audio, and I had put out this audio podcast, actually put it up on Spotify and iTunes called Mixtape Memories. And it was kind of in this style, but it was just audio. And I just talked about a couple different songs and the stories behind them. And that's something that we'll do on here. We'll share stories behind songs. I'm sure everyone's got them. But so I had this idea to talk about it and go a little bit of a deep dive behind the music, to talk about what it means to me, inspiration. I believe that music brings people together. I think that I really am passionate about music, not just singing it, but listening. In a lot of ways, I'm a fanboy too. I mean, I can go back and tell you that, I'm an 80s kid, 80s, 90s kid. Back when Michael Jackson came out with Thriller, I had all the buttons. I'm sure my mom's got pictures of me with the zipper jacket and the hat with the tail in the back. Man, I was a fanboy growing up. I remember in the early 90s, I'll put it out there. I was into New Kids on the Block. Got teased at school about it. Wasn't a good time, but I was really into all that pop music. Got into high school, was really into R&B. And then you had two groups of people that were into music. You had the people that were into rap and R&B, and then you had the people that were into grunge and rock. And I was one of those R&B kids. So music has just been a part of my life from the beginning. And I want to share that. But what I want to do is I want to use music as a vehicle to inspire, to share, and to connect. And most recently, I want to use it to also talk about my personal journey. We'll come back to that. I also want to share in my talent in getting back to my true identity, which is a performer, being in front of people. I want to be able to sing. I want to be able to, if I'm feeling it and I'm feeling the Holy Ghost and I want to do it, I want to be able to do it here with you guys and share that and have some fun stuff, do some fun things. I don't take myself too seriously at this point. I'm not out there trying to get a record deal anymore. I'm married. I got kids. I'm a professional. I have a very supportive circle of friends and family and network. And honestly, my only expectation is that I'm honest. I put it out there and maybe you take something from it. But anyways, I want to be able to tie in the messages that I talk about with the audience, with the guests that I have on here. And I'm looking forward to it. I also want to have, guests on here as we work through these kinks. It's the first episode and our production and all of that. I want to get to the point that we could have some guests on and maybe we could jam out. What is the Bino Salazar Jamcast? We're jamming. We're jamming out. We're singing. I'm going to have some guests on here. We get all this together and maybe we'll jam together, do a little jam session. I got some guests that I'm already talking to line up. Maybe we do a couple songs together. How cool would that be, right? So in some cases, I'm going to be like the Jimmy Fallon type of host, a little bit about that too, in that way. And that might be kind of cool. Also, as this gets going, maybe we create this avenue for new and upcoming artists, that are trying to get on and maybe want to share, what they're doing, what they're about. So a lot of different ways that we can go with the Bino Salazar Jamcast, but also too, singing is my jam. It's what I love. It's what I do. And so, music, top 10 lists, I was a DJ. I can rattle off, oh, that song was on that album. And then Metallica came out with the Black Album, or I can say, oh, that's a remix, but you can't buy it. It's only available in Europe. Like, I was into music so much and I gravitated towards it that, I used to open up the album and read the liner notes, who the producer was, where they recorded it, what was the studio. So even on that level, I'm a fanboy of just music in general as well. So as we have guests on, we'll do deep dives into stuff like that. So that's kind of the concept of what we're trying to do here with the show. But what I want to do next is I want to talk a little bit about me and my journey. And there's so much to talk about, but I want to just kind of give you a high level overview. So at least what I'm trying to do here and what I'm trying to accomplish and know a little bit about that journey that I talked about. So bit by the music bug when I was younger. Wasn't working out for me. Came back home, went back to school, got the 9-to-5 thing started, and met my wife, had kids. And in that process, you learn how to be a good parent. And in the beginning, you're faking it. And so in the beginning, I was this person that I thought I had to be. Tried to be the best dad I could be, best husband I could be, provider, all that stuff. But in the process, I lost my identity. And growing up, I was always a hefty kid. I was always a big kid. When I started to sing and try to get a record deal, I started to get tight, get that together, got a personal trainer, working out, doing all that, looking good. Moved back home, do the family thing, start working crazy hours at this job. Forgot about how I looked, started to not care about that stuff, started to pack on the pounds. So things are going good in terms of family life, professional life, got my education, got my degree. So a lot to be proud of in that way. But I started to have some health issues, and my weight skyrocketed. My weight got up to 382 pounds. So I was almost 400 pounds at one point.
How much?
382 pounds. In fact, I got a tattoo on my forearm right here that reminds me every day how much I used to be. And there's a line through it. So 382 tattoo with a line. And it reminds me I'm not going back, man. I ain't going back. But so that journey takes me to right before my 40th birthday. I was laying in bed and I was having sciatic issues on my left side. If you know anyone that's had sciatic issues, it's so painful. And I'm not one to tell people when I'm sick. I'm not one to tell people when I'm in pain. And this was just so painful. And it was the type of pain that like pills weren't going to help. And I was in pain just laying there. I was miserable. I hate to put a label on it that I was necessarily depressed or I had depression, but let's just say I was a shell of my former self at that point. Like I said, so many things in my life that on the outside people would say, wow, man, you're crushing it. You're doing great. You rose above. You overcame so many things, but I just really wasn't happy with myself. And I didn't want to be that person the second half of my life dealing with all these health problems. I mean, I had sciatica, pre-diabetic, high blood pressure, all these things. It was scary. And so, turning 40 really, I'm like, oh man, okay, 30s are gone. I thought to myself, man, I lost all this time, my 20s, my 30s, all this time I lost, I'm never going to get it back. And so it scared me. And I got so scared that I said, you know what, I got to make a change. And so I started doing research on the ketogenic diet. And I said, I had tried to work out and lose weight before. In twice I had joined competitions at the local gym and lost 100 pounds both times. And both times I put the weight back, and in both times I gained even more weight. And this time I said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it through nutrition. I'm a firm believer you can't out-exercise a bad diet. And so I started to follow the ketogenic diet, meticulous, weighing my food, counting my macros, doing all that stuff. 6 months go by, I lose like 50 pounds. I'm doing pretty good. And now I say, hey, I have to get some exercise going. Got to start getting mobile. And I was doing some research on different workout programs and came across CrossFit. And I started doing CrossFit. I found this amazing community. CrossFit Caliber, what's up? Big ups to CrossFit Caliber, my people. I've been doing that for just about almost 4 years now. So supportive, really changed my life, helped me get my body back. And over the next 3.5 years, I've lost over 150 pounds and have taken back my health. Sciatica, I have general aches and pains, but that's completely gone. I go to the doctor and they're like, man, it's amazing. Blood pressure, everything is great. Knock on wood, all my vitals are fantastic. I'm now 44 and I am in the best shape of my life. And now I work out not just to, because I want to continue getting fitter. I'll go and run a mile just to clear my head. And for someone who used to be like really fat, they don't do stuff like that. Like if you work out, it's like, how many pounds I lose? I just ran 2 miles. Did I lose any weight? That's how you can think. But now I do it just to clear my mind, just to get the blood flowing. So anyways, that journey took me down that path, lost weight, and started to reconnect with my identity again. And so 2 years ago or so, I started singing in the car and started to get some notoriety and some attention. And it started to reconnect me with that whole side of me, who I used to be 20 years prior. And I liked it. Somewhere in the first year, I had watched this motivational video by this inspirational speaker. His name is Prince Ea. And you check him out. He's on YouTube. He's on the socials. And he had this video that just left a lasting impression with me. And you've probably heard this before. said in different ways, but there was a video when he was dressed in a captain's hat on an airplane. And there's a bunch of passengers on there, and they have the stewardesses talking about, okay, hey, if the plane goes down, here are the exits. You're going to see something drop out of the ceiling, and it's an oxygen mask, and make sure you put the oxygen mask on your first. Even if you have kids, even if you have family, anyone else, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. Because, well, they don't explain it, but you get the gist of it. Because if you don't put the oxygen masks on yourself first, you're not going to be able to help anybody else out, no matter what, even your children, even anyone. And that left a lasting impression on me. And because something that I struggled with was feeling selfish when I put myself first. It was so important for me to be a good dad, good husband, good friend, all that, that I just would put other people first. And I would feel guilty that if I went to the gym or I went out to run, that I was taking time away from my kids or time away from my wife. I feel guilty about that. Selfish, yeah. I felt selfish, man. You know, I would get asked to go out to like a party or like a social event, and I was always that guy. I'm gonna start on Monday. I'm gonna start this diet on Monday. I'm gonna do that, you know. Or I'm 2 days in. You know, start on a Wednesday. I didn't start on Monday, so Wednesday I start the diet, and then Friday comes. I'm 2 days in, and my wife's like, "Hey, we're gonna get together tonight, have some drinks. You want to go?" And I'd say, "I don't really want to go." I told myself I wasn't going to do this, but I don't want to, you know, seem selfish, so I'll go. But I'm not going to eat anything. I'm not going to drink anything. So then I go to the party, and then people are like, "Hey, have a taco. Hey, have a Corona. Have a beer." Nah, man, I'm trying to get this together here. Man, don't worry about that. We love you anyway. We don't give a shit. Now I'm eating. Now I'm drinking. Then I fell off the wagon. And then Saturday comes, same thing. And so I'd fall off. I would get this momentum and I'd fall off. But I realized, hey, I can't do that anymore. If this is really important to me, I want to stick to it. And so I said, okay, guess what? I've learned to unapologetically be selfish, but in a positive way, put myself first. And so I no longer started to feel guilty. It still affects me every once in a while where I'll be really militant. My wife will be like, "Hey, you're doing pretty good. You made it. You came up. Your boy came up. No, but now we want to go out and have some pizza. We can have pizza one day." And, you know, I don't sweat it so hard now like I used to. But anyways, so I watched that video, put the oxygen mask on yourself first. It's okay to be selfish because at the end of the day, if you don't have your health, and that is the biggest revelation that I've had along this journey, is that without your health, what do you have? What do you really have? You know, your body, you get one body in life, right? So I've taken my life back through a lot of support, through a lot of reflection, a lot of self-discovery. And now what I'm doing is I'm reconnecting with my identity. You know, it's who I am now. I love singing. I love music. I love working out. I love being healthy. And if people know me, they know me as this positive guy. It's almost kind of like a joke now. My wife was telling me today, she went out with some friends. They were having a discussion about something. And they were like, "Well, what does Bino think?" And they're like, "We know what Bino's going to say. He's going to give the PC answer and he's going to be positive." I mean, that's who I am. You know, I'm a firm believer that it's all about mindset, overcoming, and I can look at any situation and say good. You know, like I follow Jocko Willink online, and he's a former military guy, and he says when something bad happens, immediately say good. Good. Now I can focus on that. Good that happened. Now I learned from it. Now I can move past it. So that's kind of how I live my life. And so I'm positive because it's got me through so much. So this whole journey that I've been down has got me to this point now where I'm really connecting to that identity again. And I really hope that comes out through everything that you see. And I've got a story. You know, I've worked with some big people in the music business. I have sang and worked with Grammy award-winning producers. I have done a ton of studio work. I have performed in pretty good sized venues, and I've had a story, man. I've even been in, just to kind of take it back, man, I've even been in a couple boy bands. I remember I auditioned for Making the Band the first season. There's been a couple of them, but I remember in the early 2000s, Making the Band had come to Chicago, and I remember being so excited about it. I was the first one there. The street sweepers were still outside, 3:00 in the morning. I showed up to the, I think it was the Hard Rock that they had the audition. And I was the first one in line. I was there before anyone even showed up. I said, I'm going to be the first one in line. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to crush it. And I got to like the final 5 or 6 people. Didn't make it. Clearly, I didn't make it. But I was so excited about that. So, boy bands, I did that, did the solo thing. So music throughout my whole life, my health journey, all of that. And now, honestly, if people talk to me, they say, hey, he's positive, he's inspirational. Man, I can find a positive in anything. And throughout this whole Jamcast, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about songs and do all that stuff, guys, but real behind it is a story. And that's what I'm excited about is finding the silver lining in all that. I think, music is the window to your soul, right? Most people that I meet, when they listen to music or they have those songs that are special to them, it reminds them of times in their life. I'm just making this up right now, but I can talk to someone and say, oh, man, that song came on the radio. It reminds me of when I was younger and my dad and I used to go fishing. Stuff like that. Everyone has those things, the good, the bad. I come from a generation, Norm, where mixtapes, used to make mixtapes when I was a kid. And I would put 10, 20 songs on there. And this would be like, I'd have a mixtape for different stuff. I had a mixtape for, when I wanted to do some bro reps or some push-ups. Clearly, I didn't do too many of them back then. But I had mixtapes for when I wanted to rock out and have my air guitar. When I was a kid, I was really into wrestling, WWE, or at the time, WWF.
You look like a wrestler.
Yeah, do I look like a wrestler, guys? What would my wrestler name be? What do you think it would be? Big Bino. Big Bad Beno. Anyways, I used to have mixtapes of the wrestling intros when all the wrestlers would come into the ring. And I'd have Hulk Hogan on there, Macho Man, and when I started to connect with the ladies, I used to have the mixtapes for the low and slow. When the lights go down, you used to have those mixtapes too. Just play it. So honestly, I've always been connected to music, and everything tells a story. I'll give you an example of something before we go into later on in our podcast here. I actually do have a song that I want to tell a story about, but you never know what a song means to a person. I'll give you an example. You may have heard the song Midnight Train to Georgia by Gladys Knight and the Pips. And when you hear it, and when you hear the song, it's a nice song. Gladys Knight, amazing voice. I'm sure it was on the charts. A lot of people know it. But you wouldn't think that, to me, what the song is about and what it means to me, two completely different things. Midnight Train to Georgia, from what I understand of what the song is, it's about a relationship breaking up and the guy leaving on his midnight train to Georgia and the relationship breaking up. I hope I got that right. But that's not what it means to me. To me, it actually reminds me of death, believe it or not. Crazy as it sounds. On 3 different occasions, I remember being in funeral processionals and this song coming on the radio 3 different times. Talk about coincidence. Right? And the song was, he's leaving on the midnight train to Georgia. There's a parallel there. There's a parallel there, right? Leaving on the midnight train, you can, think like he's going to the upper room, like he's not with us anymore, And so hearing that 3 times is such a coincidence that, to me, whenever I hear that song now, I don't think of what it was intended to. It's something different to me. It reminds me of those funeral processionals that I was in. So you see how crazy that is? You never would have think that, right?
Not at all.
That you wouldn't think that at all, right? But I bet you have those. I had another song, Supertramp. What was the name of that song? When I was young. Na, 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 na. I just remember being like a super young kid and watching the record spin around, and the label that was out, I think it was Casablanca, had like a little cartoon train on it with these cherry cheeks and these big eyes. And I just remember being scared to death whenever that song would come on, because the record would spin around and these ominous eyes looking at me, that I was scared. When I was a kid, that song came on, it used to scare me. Crazy, right? We're getting deep. We're getting deep in here. But this is an example of what I'm talking about. Music means something different to everyone. And so for one person, they may cry when they hear a song, and to someone else, it might make them laugh. You never know. But anyways, songs mean something totally different to different people. So why is music special to me? Music is special to me because growing up, I was an introvert. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. And just to kind of put it out there, I was the fat kid and we moved a lot. So I didn't build connections with kids when I was really young. And yeah, it was tough. And I gravitated towards watching TV and listening to music and all of that. And, but through that, you know, I was able to express myself through that. And I think that's how I ended up starting to sing. And so it allowed me through music to connect with people. And even to this day, I feel more comfortable being on stage and singing than I do actually in front of people talking small talk. I'm more comfortable on stage. And you wouldn't think that, but I tell my wife all the time, like, she doesn't think I'm an introvert sometimes. And I say, no, I'm actually more comfortable on stage because I can control that. I know the lyrics, you know, I can set it up where when you have one-on-one interaction with people, it's kind of shoot off the hip. It can be a little, I don't know the next thing to say.
You should just sing to everybody.
That's what I should just do. You know what I should do? From now on, I think I should just like sing everything out like if I was a musical, like, today I'm going to get myself a sandwich.
You got to record reactions from that.
Oh yeah, right. I'll let you know how that goes. Yeah, if I just sang everywhere, I wonder what type of reaction that would get. Just on a side note, one idea that we've talked about that I'm going to do, I'm committing to do this before the next episode, is I want to do like Flashmob stuff. I want to go and find groups of people, you know, with COVID lightening up, the droves of people are going to be out springtime, summertime. And I want to take my my battery powered mic, my amp, and just go out and like just set up quick and just hit them with like some acapella or some cool stuff and just flash mob people and sing and see what type of reaction I get. Might be kind of cool, huh?
It'll be cool to get some video of that.
Yeah, right. And I already know not everyone's gonna be drinking my Kool-Aid. I'll get some booze. I'll get some good stuff. Definitely be something memorable. Maybe something we can laugh about on here. But you know, we're in Chicago. There's a lot of stuff, and I think it's the perfect time for something like that. You know, we need a lot of reasons to smile, don't we?
Very true.
Yep. So just going through some of my notes here. You know, we're going to talk a lot about music on the show, but because of copyright law, we can't necessarily play all that stuff on here. So one workaround that we have is just taking all the songs that we talk about and creating playlists. And I want to take these playlists and put them up for you. We can put them up on Apple Music, Spotify. So if we talk about Gladys Knight, we talk about all those different songs, we're going to put that stuff up in playlists. And maybe we can be a little bit of a curator of sorts and put together some cool playlists and some, like I used to back in the day, some mixtapes. But let's see here. So music's special to me. I love all types of music. Even though I talked about I was, you know, growing up really into R&B. When I was a kid, I grew up I just remember being in the car all the time in the back seat. When I was a kid, we didn't have the internet and we were just bored driving, listening to the radio oldies. So if it was like the Beatles, Elvis, Bill Haley and the Comets, Chuck Berry, a little bit of country. My older brother was into rock and heavy metal, so Kiss, Journey, all that. So my appreciation for music is so wide. Even musicals in high school, I really got into musicals. So, you know, when we talk about, we're not going to stick to one genre on here. Like I said, I'm very diverse in that way. We have guests on. It's not going to be, you know, even like hip hop too. Really into hip hop. So it's going to be very diverse. A lot, you know, we're not going to just stick with one particular genre. So bonding with music is something that is also something I do a lot. If I meet someone and they're into music, we instantly have a connection. You ever have a time when you just meet someone and you find something that they're passionate about, you're passionate about, and instantly you're like best friends, right? That happens to me a lot. So one time I went to a business dinner with my wife, and a bunch of business guys, professionals sitting at a table. And there was this older gentleman that was sitting there, And this is what I'm talking about. Older gentleman sitting there. And so, I'm talking to people and I'm just saying hi. And I don't know how we got on the subject. And he said, something like, what do you do in your free time? He's like, well, I just started playing the guitar. And I think this gentleman must have been like, up there in age, 60 plus, maybe 70, wherever. And he's like, yeah, I started playing the guitar, and I used to play guitar when I was young in high school. I used to be like in a garage band, and then put the thing away. And then he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you should start to go back to doing stuff like that because it helps you stay connected and to use your brain. So as you get older, it gets tough, to remember stuff, and you get all kinds of like the issues that happen as you get older. So he's like, my doctor told me I should start playing guitar and start doing crossword puzzles and to stay connected. And so I looked at, like his age and his demographic, and I just cracked a joke. And I'm like, so are you, what's that Beatles tune that you're learning? And the look in his face when I had said that to him, he was like shocked. He's like, how did you know that I was learning to play a Beatles song?
You made his day.
I made his day, bro. I made his day. And he's like, how did you know I wanted to learn a Beatles song? And so I told him a strategy that I have. But anyway, I'll tell you about the strategy in a second. So then we spend like the rest of the dinner. We're at this round table and everyone's talking. I stayed there with him, didn't know this guy. And we sat there talking about music, talking about the Beatles. And I just had an instant connection. Like, what is it? That movie Step Brothers with Will Ferrell. And he's like, did we just become best friends?
Yep.
You like the Beatles, I like the Beatles. So we just sat there talking. My wife told me like a couple of days later, she said, you must have left a really good impression on that guy. Cause he's like, man, who's that guy? Bino, man. That guy's awesome. Cause I had a connection with him. We found something in common. And so I do that all the time. I'm a good question asker, good interviewer. Hopefully those skills come out when we do this thing. But, so connection to music, right? So let me tell you about this strategy I have. So, I used to DJ karaoke. I talked about all that. I have this strategy when I would do parties. Now, I wasn't like a turntablist. I wasn't like that guy. Like
you weren't scratching records?
I wasn't wiki. I wasn't doing all that stuff. I was, honestly, if I got to be honest, I was the karaoke jockey DJ playing CDs and doing weddings. Sometimes we had some pretty cool clubs, and, I was looping and I was mixing, but I wasn't doing it on the level like, you would think. I'm not going to kill my own hype. I was getting paid to DJ, so I must have been doing something right. But I would go to a party and I would look at the room, a bunch of people there, and I'd say, okay, what's the demographic of the people in this room? Okay, so we got this. Are they a rap crowd, rock crowd, country crowd? What are they? And then I would kind of get like the average age of the room. And so, okay, mid-30s. Okay. So I would do the math and figure out how long ago it was when they were 18 or when they were in high school. And then I would think back to that time and say, okay, mid-80s into rock. They probably were into, Bon Jovi. Or like ladies, they were into Bon Jovi, or they're, so I put some Bon Jovi on, I'm going to crush it. More times than not, I nailed it. I was off a couple times because I am kind of stereotyping a little bit, but your job is to do that. Your job is to do that and say, hey, what are these people going to like? And so I would do that. I'd say, okay, because music, popular music especially, it's made for, teenagers to like 25, I'll talk to friends and like people in my age group, and my wife will say, I don't like anything on the radio right now. And you know what I tell her? I say, well, it's not for you. You're listening to the wrong station. That's for, teenagers to 25, and the stuff they talk about, we can't relate to anymore.
I can see her saying that.
You can see her saying that. She's like, man, I don't like anything on the radio, right? I don't know what they're talking about. I'm like, because it's not for us. We need to go to the other station now. We need to go to the oldie station. We're getting up there. So she's going to kill me for saying that. But anyways, it's not for us anymore. But think about when music meant the most to you. It probably was when you were like in high school or in college, right? And those songs that take you back, you're like, man, I remember I got my members only jacket and I was jamming out, or man, I had my British Knights on and my cardigan, and we were popping and blocking. I remember that song, whatever it is. Anyways, I used that strategy whenever I would DJ and I would nail it. People were like, man, he just knew all the songs to play. So this is all just because I have this intimate relationship with music. I know music, curating it, know the history of it. I sing, perform, all that stuff. So anyways, I know I'm just rambling and talking a lot about this, but like I told you guys, I'm not reading off a teleprompter. Music really is my life. And I'm just so happy that I'm just getting back to that connection with it again. Clearly, I'm talking about it. You can tell I'm definitely passionate about it. So I've talked about a lot when I talk about my journey and who I am. And it's really come full circle. And I'm still, it's a journey, not a destination. I'm still going through it. I still have health goals, fitness goals that I want to achieve. Really heavy into CrossFit. And so we just came out of doing, every year, the CrossFit community does a CrossFit Open, where everyone does the same workout and they evaluate themselves. And so there's still movements that I'm not able to do yet, but I'm working on it. So I'm still going down that journey in learning. Also, too, the journey of my self-discovery and my identity, getting back to that again. And then also, too, with music. This podcast, this Jamcast, I've been trying to do it for a minute. And I actually got connected with Norm through CrossFit. I was working out at the gym and doing that, and he started coming. We started connecting, and he had talked about, hey, I'm going to start producing podcasts and do that. I started sharing my journey with him, and he started seeing my posts. He said, hey man, I think you got something here, man. I think we put it together. I think it might be something that people want to listen to and whatnot. And so, that's what kind of brought us here. So that's a little bit of why music is special to me, a little bit about my history. I want to add a little more validity to my time in the music business. I have connected with, and it's been a little while. I've been off the set for a minute. So some of the people that I work with, I don't know what they're doing now. Maybe I'll reach out to them and get to a point where I can interview them. But one producer I work with, Maurice Joshua, actually I did some songs with him. Man, awesome dude, super talented, great guy to work with.
He's an artist or a producer?
He's a producer. He actually won a Grammy, I believe, for working on, it might be a Beyond. He might have won a couple Grammys at this point, man. Dude's serious, but came from house music, Chicago house, Maurice Joshua, Mike Dunn, some of those guys, but he actually won a Grammy for that. And great dude to work with. I did some songs with him, tried to put together demo tapes, did some scratch vocals for him. Worked with Mike Dunn, who actually is a house music legend. Did some songs with him. Not house music songs, but I was doing some other genres, if you will. What was he famous for? The big song, doom, 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 'cause I'm a freaking mother. You know what I'm talking about, that song?
Not at all.
Not at all. You don't know? Yeah, I'll put it in the description afterwards. I'll send a link to the video. I don't want to get flagged as inappropriate on here by saying all the lyrics. But anyways, we're together with Manny Moore. Man, I'm gonna say a lot of swear words, Norm, on here. Just these songs are.
We'll beep it out. Go ahead.
We'll bleep it out. Okay. Manny Moore, he produced Gillette. Don't want no short dick, man. If you're from Chicago.
What was that again?
Don't want. Don't want no short, man. Anyways, that was Gillette that did it, but he was the producer behind it. I did a couple songs with him. And I also worked with Touch of Grey Music, Mike Gray, Rico McFarland, Tim Gant. When I was in an R&B group, we actually did the scratch vocal for a song that ended up getting placed, and the Backstreet Boys ended up doing it. So
what's a scratch?
A scratch vocal is when a producer or a songwriter wants to pitch a song to an artist or a label. And so they'll have you come in, they'll pay people to come in, or they'll do it themselves. Most of the big artists that, it's probably still this way. Most of the big artists that are out, even some rappers do this. When songs come to them, if they don't write all their own stuff, those songs are already sang by someone else. And they'll hear it and say, I want that song. So, okay, cool. So whoever does it, they got their flavor, it helps to sell the song. So that's a scratch vocal. So I used to, I made some money on the side doing that too. But I started to get a reputation for myself. So I do scratch vocals, and I built relationships with some of these guys. And so on the side, they say, okay, let me do a couple tracks for you. Let me help you out. Man, I must have did at least 50 songs, maybe more. I put together a demo reel that was not demo quality. This stuff was like album quality that I was pitching to labels and stuff. But worked with some heavy hitters and came up with some great songs and did so I got a lot of experience. So yeah, sang a song that was pitched, and then I actually have like videos of us singing that song, and then now you go back and like Backstreet Boys ended up taking that song and using it. Did another song that the track ended up getting placed with Public Announcement, who actually was on the first album with R. Kelly in Chicago. So just rubbing elbows, when back in that time, 20 years plus, I was connecting with, there was this music studio that we were in, and there were multiple rooms. And so you'd be in one room and someone would be recording in another room, say, hey, come over and drop a vocal on this real quick. Or come over, I need another songwriter. Come on over and write the song with me. So that was a real special time doing some cool stuff. Some other stuff I did, just, quick giving some blurbs about my musical history. I started getting into jingles.
Jingles?
Commercial jingles. Yeah. So, trying to think of, you hear a commercial and there's like 773-202 Luna. Someone got paid on that?
That song is legendary.
Legendary. Like there's royalties that get paid out, and the person that sang that, I don't know who, but they're probably balling because of that one, right? 588-2300, right? I don't know how much they're getting paid now. You have options. You can get royalties, or they can just give you like a flat amount. But I had a friend that I met doing the open mic and karaoke, and he got me connected with some people, and I did some commercials back in the day. I did a McDonald's commercial. One of the commercials.
You were singing on a McDonald's commercial?
I was singing in a McDonald's commercial. Now, I wasn't on video, but I was singing, we love to see you smile. I think that was it. I think that's all I did. And I started getting the checks. I remember I couldn't wait until the check would come in the mail.
How long did it take to record that?
You had to do a couple takes, and, they did some harmonies and whatnot. But I remember I did this one. I went into this high rise in the city, and I went in there, and I'm standing next to this one. I think he was an English gentleman, had like a leather coat on, looked kind of like he was legit. And we were doing a jingle. I don't know if it was that one. And later on, I had asked my friend, he's like, hey, yeah, oh, you were down there. You met that guy? You know who that guy is? I said, no, who is that? He's like, you ever remember the group Go West? And I said, Go West. Yeah, okay, I know Go West. They had a song that was on the soundtrack to Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman. The song was, "'Cause I'm the king of wishful thinking. I'll get over you. I know I will." So like he was like, I don't know. It was.
I remember hearing that song on
You remember that song? Yeah.
late night commercials.
Yeah, exactly. And so he was next to this guy singing this, doing a jingle for McDonald's, and I got
What was your jingle again? Come on, let it out.
We love to see you smile. I don't know if it was all proper like that, but I remember doing it, and the guy's like, okay, we're good. Next. And I'm like, that's it. Yeah, okay, go see the receptionist. And I go up front. She's like, okay, we're going to hook you up, man. I remember she said, I'm just going to make up the number, but it was in the ballpark. She's like, okay, I'm just happy. We got you 6. Cool, $600, man. That's great. She's like, no, we got you $6,000.
$6,000?
And you're going to get residuals. So I was getting checks like monthly. When you're like 19, 20, that money goes a long way. I had this idea in my head. I'm like, I want to buy this Beamer. I was looking it up, and I got rims, the whole nine.
Wait a minute. You were thinking rims, Beamer off of $600?
Nah, man, I grew up in, this is about when you were younger. You get 6 G's, man. You're not trying to put that money away and invest. You're trying to buy some rims and get a car with some tints on it, man.
So what kind of car did you get?
I didn't end up buying a car with that money. I ended up blowing the money. I wasn't good with it, but anyways, yeah. So you get a check for 6 G's, and I was getting residuals. I ended up doing like another commercial. I think Coors Light Busch Gardens.
Did they pay you in beer?
They did not pay me in beer.
Oh.
But I don't know. I didn't handle that time in my life real well. I was a different person. There was a little bit of me that was about that life, just to being the musician and the singer and the artist. And I didn't take a lot of that stuff seriously. I didn't have the discipline and the support system, if you will, at that time to make good decisions. So I actually think during that time is when I met my wife, actually. I think
During jingle season?
during jingle season. Yeah, I was in the jingle season of my life. And story for another time, the deep story. But I just started dating her. And she's like, hey, you want to come visit me? And I said, yeah, baby, I love you. I'll come visit you. She's like, well, I'm in Texas. Won't you come see me? I'm like,
And you were up here in Chicago?
I was here in Chicago. She's like, come see me. And I said, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'm a grown ass man. I'll come out and see you. I'll do what I want to do.
Gotta prove yourself.
I prove myself. I gotta go see what's I'm a movie quote guy. Good Will Hunting. I gotta go see about a girl. So I wanted to go see about a girl. So I blew off a client, a big client, to go see about a girl, and I got blacklisted in the jingle business.
But you got love listed in life.
I got love listed in life, man. And so I don't regret that decision. That's one of the ones I don't regret. I think I made a good call there. Also, too, doing karaoke. So, I came back, started a family, started DJing, doing karaoke. I started getting into karaoke contests, man. I was a ringer, bro. I was a ringer.
Cheater.
I was a hustler, man. I used to go walk into places, and there was one time I did a contest and they kicked me out because they said this show is for amateurs. Clearly you're not an amateur. And they kicked me out.
Such a cheater.
Haters, right? But I actually, there was this one time I was in Illinois State, Illinois. There's national karaoke championships. Did you know that?
Now I know.
Yeah, like there's championships for everything. You can do, there's like an air guitar championship. Like
I would kill that. Probably not.
Dude, you're gonna make a lot of enemies hating on it. Like you could just come off the couch and be like, these guys are professionals. They've been doing it for years. Air guitar, bro.
So if I show up with it like a Guitar Hero air guitar.
It's an air guitar. It doesn't exist. You can't show up with it.
Okay.
It's air guitar, man. You think these guys like show up with the case and just open it up and then
there's nothing in it?
There's nothing in it.
I would love that.
You like that? Like they show up like, hey man, I can't do this set without my air guitar, man. But anyways.
They would probably chase me out of there.
Hey man, I bet you there's like a Michael Jordan of the air guitar championships. I bet you there's like some dude that's like, man, this guy's sick, man.
And 6-time champion.
And now. Anyways, there's a national karaoke championship. And I remember, and actually the song that I'm talking about today, because at the end of this, I want to talk about a song and tell you, what it means to me. I'll just tell the song. It's I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. So I'll come back to all that. But anyways, I remember doing the national karaoke championships. I placed at like a local bar, and you had to work your way up through the gauntlet of death, through the levels at the local bars and the dive bars. I won a couple times and ended up going downstate to Macomb, Illinois. And what is that? Is that Western Illinois? Macomb? Western Illinois.
Southwestern?
Macomb, Illinois. But I don't know what college is in Macomb. I don't know. Anyways, afterwards I partied with the basketball team. I just know that. I drove down there. It was the state finals, and I got on stage and I sang I Believe I Can Fly and crushed it. You could hear a pin drop, and it was awesome. It was like very memorable. But I won the Illinois State. I was the Illinois 1999 Illinois State Karaoke Champion. On this day, I was perfect. I won. And then I went to Nashville and I got creamed. But when I did that, I got crushed. I went there.
What did you sing down in Nationals?
Man, I'm not a good contest singer. I'll be honest with you. I'm not. I don't, because I feel like I don't want to have to prove myself and sing like a song for the crowd. I'm all this like I got to keep it real and do what I love. So it just comes across real hokey, and I'm not myself. So I'm like that guy, like the street ball legend, but then when scouts come, he can't hit a shot.
That's rough.
You know what I'm talking about? Like those guys, like they freeze. I don't know. But I wasn't a good contest singer, but I did win some. The small ones, like the local dive bars, win $50, win some Bulls tickets. I would win those. But the big ones, I wouldn't do so well in those. But anyways, I went to Nashville and I sang Heat Wave, Always and Forever.
That's a good song.
But everybody, I didn't read the rules. I thought I could go there and just wing it. I guess karaoke is different all over the country. So like in Chicago, it's about like divey bars, singing like, rock songs or whatever. And, but in other places, it's like a production where they wear outfits, they sing show tunes. Like there's some places in the city that are like that, where it's like people get dressed up and they act out, and it was just different. I was a fish out of water.
So like if they were singing Elvis, they came looking like Elvis.
Yeah, they came looking like Elvis, hip thrust, everything. I went in there trying to look, smooth pimp. And
what does a smooth pimp wear?
Smooth pimp wears man, in hindsight now, I have a picture of this somewhere and I'll find it. And maybe by the time we go, post-production on this, I'll find a picture. I do have a program. In fact, it's in the garage. I have a program of me with blonde hair. I think I had blonde hair in that picture. Maybe. It's been
blonde
a journey.
hair. Boy band days?
Man, I got some stuff, man. I can laugh about it now. But so anyways, yeah, I got booed off stage. I think I had like
You got booed off stage?
Pretty much. Like they were recording it because they wanted you. It was a money grab. They were trying to sell you stuff. So they, they were recording everyone so you could buy the VHS tape of your performance. And so everyone was kind of quiet, but I could look in the crowd and people were like, nope, not today, buddy. Not today.
Not your day.
Yeah. I had a good time in Nashville, though. I actually went to a couple spots and they let me go on stage and sing. It was incredible. I loved it. Live band, everything. But I didn't do well. I didn't do well in the contest. But the reason I mentioned that is when that was happening, it got into Associated Press and I started going on the radio. I was on Jonathan Brandmeier.
Give me your radio voice.
No, I wasn't like the announcer. I was just on there talking like I'm doing now. But I remember, and he's like a shock jock. He's like a Howard Stern, Jonathan Brandmeier. Anybody knows him, Chicago. I was on Jonathan Brandmeier. And I wasn't on there because I was rich and famous. I was on there because I was in a karaoke contest and they were making fun of me. So
hey,
I have,
any publicity?
Any publicity is good publicity. I remember going on there and he was like, so these guys, you went to Nashville and they did you wrong like that? And you went on there? And I'm like, yeah, man, I went there and there was this guy with these horns and he was singing about Don Quixote and he had like this, had a trumpet. It was just crazy. I wasn't prepared for it.
I forgot my trumpet at home, guys.
Yeah, like guys, I didn't know I needed to bring a trumpet. I didn't know I needed to have props. And so it didn't go well, but I got some press out of it. Like I said, I was on a couple other radio shows. I don't know, but so throughout my life, man, I've dabbled like rubbing elbows with some people.
It sounds like a good time.
Sounds like a good time, but then not to be like a buzzkill. I also tried out for American Idol too. I did. And
How did that go?
I hit two. You ever what's that game show, Name That Tune?
Yes.
Love it. So okay, so you love the show, but like I could name that tune in 3 notes. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, that's this, right? Can you imagine auditioning in front of someone and singing 2 notes and they say next?
2 notes.
Remember how I told you I didn't do well in contests?
Did you at least get to see Ryan Seacrest?
No, I waited 3 days. I went with my mom and at the time my girlfriend is my wife now, and we went there. Waited 3 days in the blistering sun. It was treacherous.
Like tent?
We went in a van. We waited outside. It was in Cleveland, I think, where the Browns used to play.
Okay.
And I remember waiting outside. I mean, it was like packed, like outside. You couldn't see a people. American Idol was huge at the time, and they had extended their age group. And I think I was like, I don't know, mid-20s, but I was always too old to be on American Idol, so I just missed it. So we go out there, and I'm waiting, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sing like this, like Temptations or something. I'm just like, my girl, or something. I don't know. You never know what to do. Well, as I'm like thinking about this, and I'm seeing people sing, and the line's getting closer, I'm getting to the front, and I start panicking.
Nervous.
I'm nervous. I'm not nervous that I can sing. I'm confident in my ability, but I was nervous that, what if I pick the wrong song? So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going up there trying to be like Temptations. I'm gonna keep it real. You know, I'm an artist. You know, I'm remembering when I was trying to get a record deal. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm just R&B stuff. So I'm like, what can I do? What can I do that I can go up there? And I know I'm not gonna get a lot of time. So I'm like, I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna sing something. Just hit them, blaze them with a couple notes. Boom, boom, boom. Sign me up. Let me see Ryan Seacrest. Write me the check. Cash the check. I'm paid, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sing some Genuine. So anxious.
Oh, you went there.
So I get up front, and you don't meet Paula and Randy Jackson up front. You have to like audition for like their ushers first. You have to like audition for their staff.
So you don't get to stand in front of them right away.
Nope.
There's levels to this.
There's levels to this game, bro. You have to like pass like 8 levels to get to the final level boss at the end, and then you get to like meet like Randy and them. And then like you're trying to like, I got a ticket to Hollywood. So I got axed by like some dude that like, I don't know, like it was like an assistant or like someone. Anyways, so I get up front. I'm in a line, you know, and this is on the football field. Like I'm like on the 20-yard line. They got like tables set up. And there's lines down.
Oh, it's in the stadium.
In the stadium, on the field, 20-yard line. There's 10 rows of lines of people. It's a cattle call.
I would have started singing the national anthem.
That would have, you know what? Hindsight being 2020, man. He's like, I would have sang the national anthem. I would tell you what I would have did. No, I didn't. I got up front. I'm like, watch this. I got this. 9 o'clock. Next.
You didn't even get to 10 o'clock.
I was ready to go. I was like, all alone, paging you, wishing you come over my place after a while. Nope, didn't get any of that. I was like, 9 o'clock. Next. Crushed me.
Whoa.
And I'm joking about this, but I'm serious. In that moment, I closed the book on my music career. Got home. 2 weeks later, my wife said, honey, I'm pregnant.
That Genuine.
It was the Genuine, dude. I was pregnant. Yeah, 2 weeks later, I'm pregnant. And we had our son, and I never looked back on the music business after that. I'm like, man, this was my last shot. That was it. American Idol, man.
American Idol and Genuine.
So Anxious will be on the playlist.
Oh, it has to be.
On Spotify. So that's what I'm talking about, man. See how cool this is? You're going to go listen to that song. It's never going to, all you're going to hear, or you're going to think of is Bino getting booed. 9 o'clock next. I should get like shirts made, like hashtag 9 o'clock next. Crushed me, man. Honestly, I thought I was so, you know, I thought I was going to do it. Everyone's like, man, you should go. You know, I would sing, and sometimes people would be like, man, you need to go on American Idol. Then I was like, I was too old. And then I heard they raised the age range so you can do it now. So I'm going to do it. So I had to come back and tell people I didn't make it. So, yeah. So, yeah, karaoke. I was the Illinois State karaoke champ. Wasn't the national champion. Tried out for American Idol. Didn't do that. You want to hear something crazy, man? I'm just not good with contests in general. I actually tried out for The Biggest Loser and didn't make that either.
The weight loss show?
The weight loss show. And
did you start singing?
I don't want to make bad jokes because but let's just say as much as I have a story, there are other people whose story is way bigger. You know, like their rise above story and how they persevered. And when you do stuff like that, they're looking for the polarizing story. They're looking for the one that's going to get viewers. And even though I felt I had a story, like honestly, I was in line with people that they needed it more than I did. You know, like there was something that was going to change their life. And even though I was just trying to, I hate to say it, man, I was trying to get on. I'm like, man, I could do this. I got personality. I'm this fluffy dude.
Were you at 382 at the time?
I was pretty heavy. I don't know if I was 382, but I was up there. And I remember like, there's no audition, but you know, they're interviewing you. And told them my story or whatever. And I just knew like it wasn't going to work. There was this guy in front of me, man. And honestly, all jokes aside, he was not, he was not in a good place health wise. And he had someone with him that was like his ambassador. And she had like this poster board and people had signed it. I think he was from Canada or something. I mean, the guy might've been like $5. Might have been like 500 pounds, 600 pounds.
Oh.
And he had like the poster board, and everybody signed it to support him and say, pick him. Like, he needs to go on this. You know, this is what the show is about. I don't know. I don't think he made it. I don't know if I watched that season of it. But anyways, you know, that's a very serious thing there. But I didn't make that either. So I'm just not really good with, I know it was a little bit of a buzzkill. I didn't win Making the Band. I didn't make American Idol. I couldn't even make The Biggest Loser. But I tried.
That's what matters.
That's what matters, man. It's the journey, bro. Right? It's the journey. And so.
What's awesome is that you can hear your wife in the background laughing and loving it.
Because she knows there's so much I'm leaving out. And so if we get enough people, I'm going to make my wife this promise. If there's anything that I say that people want more and they want to know more, if I get enough people to reply and say, I want to know more about that, I'll tell you the dirty. I'll break it down for you, and I'll give you the cheese mate, bro. I'll break it down. I'll tell you. Anyways, let's see. I got some notes here. I'm going to bring it back. I know we're just kind of going with the flow here. But so, guys, I've done a lot. I have tried to stay connected to the music industry, music, singing, all of that, while raising a family, trying to be the best dad I can, being a professional, going back to school, doing all that. And most recently, the biggest change is my health, man. You know, my health and getting healthy. So it's been a crazy ride. But so a little bit about why music is special, I think, just in general. And I'm going to sound like Casey Kasem from the dude that did like the top 40, where he was like this ambassador of music. Music it transcends all boundaries, man. Doesn't matter your race, generation, economic status, walks of life. Music is common ground. It can lift you up. It can inspire you. It can rally people together. It can bring you back to a different time. You know, an example of that is there's songs that, like my son, he's 15, and, you know, he's learning about history, and there's a song, I want to say it's Creedence Clearwater Revival. Have you ever seen the rain? Maybe that's it. And he's like, hey, Dad, that's the Vietnam song. That's a song about like every Vietnam movie that comes out. That song is on there. And we had a conversation about the Vietnam War because of this song that he had heard, and he didn't know the backstory, but because it just, when you hear it, you think of that. And so that's, you know, it's sometimes can be a soundtrack to a time. And even when you talk about times in our history that we're probably not proud of, there's songs that represent that, right? So music and songs can be very special to a lot of people, and it brings people together. Also, too, music can allow you to bond at certain points in time. I think for most people that I know, and a lot of people, they get caught up in pop music, right? So I know when I was a kid, I was really into, I'm gonna say this, Ice Baby.
Vanilla
Ice, man. One of my favorite memories was going to the local barbershop and telling them, I want a yellow stripe right down the middle, because I wanted to look like Vanilla Ice in the album cover. Because I was like, you know,
it's a good look.
Dude, I thought he was gangster. I thought he was like from the streets. And I was, you know, I didn't realize I was this little chubby Mexican fat kid. I didn't look like Vanilla Ice. But the dude in the chair was like, man, it looks good. Man, you look just like. Now, my mom wouldn't let me dye my hair. So I had to just get like the spray. So I had like
spray on.
It was like a spray, like light colors. It didn't, in my mind, I'm like, man, I'm fresh. I had my fake earring. I was looking fresh, Vanilla Ice, right? I just remember times in my life, like because of pop music, right? Michael Jackson with the buttons, and when Thriller came out, it was like time stopped. It was like everybody was like, man, Thriller, man's a musical genius. Zipper jackets, boom, glove. Everybody's doing the moonwalk, right? That's music, man. Music, it brings people together, man. What else? Also, like how you dressed. Like think about, I bet you probably have elements of your style that are influenced in some way by the music you listen to, right? Or when you were in high school, like finding your identity. That's important to kids in high school, right? Like grunge. When I was in high school, grunge was real big. So there's people walking around like, man, I was in high school, I had a flannel for every day of the week. Because also flannels were big for like hip hop too. In high school, I used to rock flannels and Timberlands and had the matching hat because I was into like that type of stuff, right? So it's like you have a connection to music, and it also influences who you hang out with, the whole culture of it, the vibe and all that stuff. So music is special. Like I said, it transcends all that stuff and brings people together. You can get people that don't even know the same language. They hear a song and they're connected. I saw, it was a YouTube video one time, and it was this, I don't know what nationality she was. I'll just say she was from the Far East. And she sang Mariah Carey. And I think the song was, I give my all to have woman I with you.
That's a really good song.
Right? But she didn't know English, you can tell, because she was just saying the how the words sounded. And so it's been out for a long time. But if you pull up the video and she sings it and she doesn't know the words, she's just kind of like faking it, but she sounded beautiful. And so like she didn't even know English, but she loved the song. Kind of cool, right? So, music can have a connection in that way. So, all right. So I talked a little bit about my background and a little bit about me so you can see what we're trying to do here. So the next thing that I want to do, I want to pick a song, and I want to do this periodically. We're going to have different reasons and different topics in different formats to Bino Salazar Jamcast, but something I want to do periodically is I want to pick songs. I want to pick songs that either are special to me or special to the guests that come on. And so the song I want to pick that I think is very fitting for this first episode is I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. So, R. Kelly has gotten a lot of attention in recent years for his antics and bad decisions. And regardless of what you think about him as a person, as a musician, I mean, he might be one of the greatest songwriters and vocalists in R&B, in R&B in history, at least in my generation. So I Believe I Can Fly, great song. A little history. I did my research on this. So the song was actually on a soundtrack for Michael Jordan Space Jam. You know Space Jam, right?
That's the first time I heard that song, yeah.
Really?
Yep.
It was great, man. It's a great song. I believe I can fly, and a great video. He's got I remember he was in the cornfield with the sweater, arms out.
R. Kelly or Michael Jordan?
R. Kelly.
Okay.
I don't know. I think, did R. Kelly and Michael Jordan? No, he didn't. But it was a great song. 1996, it was nominated for 8 Grammys, actually won 5. It was #1 in 8 countries. And when you write a good song, it can be the magic. It can be remade and be sang in any genre. It's been done in country, rock. I've heard some heavy metal versions of it, even some rap versions of it, believe it or not. But I Believe I Can Fly with the rap songs it's about flying because of other reasons. But it's been remade by Etta James did a version. And I looked this up. I'm heavy on Spotify. I'm on there. And Etta James did a version of it. James Ingram, Gerald Levert, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg did a version of I Can Fly with Young Dolph. You know who Young Dolph is?
No, not Young Dolph, but...
Yeah, Young Dolph and Snoop Dogg did a song, I Can Fly. I Believe I Can Fly, kind of based on that. But it's been remade by a whole bunch of people, country, rock, rap, you name it. In fact, and this is how you know it transcends all cultures, I Believe I Can Fly was actually done. There was a flash mob in Sweden. You got to check this out, man. We got to put this in the notes at the end. This link, it's on YouTube. Must have been 30 people. A flash mob in the Stockholm airport. They come out of the woodwork. They all have headsets on. And they start busting into like 5-6 part harmonies. I Believe I Can Fly in the airport. Flash mob. Dope. It's awesome. And you think of like, okay, R. Kelly writes this song and it wins Grammys. Michael Jordan soundtrack. Stockholm airport. Flash mob. Like it must be special. So I didn't pick one that's like a deep album cut. It's a special song. So why is it special? it talks about believing in yourself. And I actually want to grab some of the lyrics and talk about why it means something to me. But, people can relate to the feeling of flying, of soaring and feeling free and rising up. And so, there's a lot of songs that are out about flying, right? You think about Steve Miller Band, Fly Like an Eagle, right? It's about flying. Freebird, Leonard Skinner, right? Fly me to the moon, fly me to the moon, Frank Sinatra. So, flying
The
is
karaoke's coming out.
Dude, my karaoke rolls deep, son. But singing about flying or writing a song about flying isn't necessarily all that special, but the way that he did it really left an impact. I actually read an article, I think it was Billboard magazine or something, and R. Kelly talked about when he was a kid, he rode his bike down to what was called at the time the Sears Tower, and he went up to the Sears Tower and put his hands on it, and he looked up and he saw this grand stature, this high rise, and it just made him feel like he was invincible and he could do anything. And he says he remembered that. It wasn't the only reason, but it was one of the reasons why he ended up writing or was inspired to write I Believe I Can Fly. And so, the song is about overcoming fear and believing in yourself. And, really that's my whole journey of self-discovery, of identity, of my health. And so I want to go through some of the lyrics in the song, and I got some notes here that I want to share with you guys that mean a lot to me. And so one of the lines in there, I used to think that I could not go on. And I can relate to that. I was miserable. I said earlier I didn't want to label that I was necessarily depressed, but I definitely was not the person I am or the person that I wanted to be. And there were days that were dark. I'd have conversations with loved ones, and a lot of people knew me as like this, Gabi's always happy. They called me Gabi back then. I'm Bino now. I got the cup. Bino represent. But I came up, man, my identity, But you look back at old pictures, I'm always smiling. I'm always making a face. I remember one time, it was a family friend that told my wife, anytime I see a picture of Gabi, he's always smiling, making a face. And you know why? Because I wasn't happy. I was faking it. I didn't want to just sit there and genuinely smile. If you look back at all old pictures of me, I'm making a face or doing like the what's up look or something because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy with myself. So, I felt like I didn't have any solutions. I didn't have, I was this good dad, husband, professional, but I didn't have, I wasn't on it. And I talked about my weight, age, turned 40, I was 382 pounds, sciatic, all that stuff. I was really crying out to make a change, and that song gave me hope. And it's funny because I sang that song when I did like that karaoke championship, and I used to sing it at karaoke, and it didn't resonate with me at that time. It was just a song. I used to sing that song with all my heart, but it just connected with me. And then over time, I would hear it and it would inspire me. And so that line, I used to think that I could not go on, man. There was some really dark days in there dealing with my health and my confidence. Another line in the song, life was nothing but an awful song. That's a great line. Life was nothing but an awful song. And why do I say that? It's an awful song because, I'm a musician, I'm a vocalist. I don't want to say that. When you say something's an awful song, right? If I sing a song bad, I'd feel bad about it, or I hear a bad song, it made me feel bad. My life was nothing but an awful song. It's like, it's a parallel to, what I thought about myself. Like it was like that song that never ends and it goes on and on. But like, yeah, right. But in a bad way, honestly, it was like, I had this loop, like the movie Groundhog Day, like every day, like I was just not happy with myself. I didn't want to sing anymore. I didn't want to be on stage in front of people because I didn't like how I looked. And then my heart wasn't in it. And then, I would have people come up and say, man, you sound really good. How come you're not doing anything with that? And in my mind, I would say these horrible things to myself and be like, man, look at me. look at how I look. Like, there were times when I remember one time I had sang somewhere, and people have a couple drinks, they can say some pretty nasty stuff. This one guy had said to me, "Hey man, you got a great voice. You can really do something with that, but you gotta work on this a little bit. Get that right, and you can do some big stuff." And he was just giving me feedback. People don't know what they say, right? That it hurt, man. That hurt, and I knew that. And so, Life Was Nothing But an Awful Song. Also, too, I felt like a disappointment. When I started to get into singing in my hometown, people were like, and one guy even told me, he's like, "Hey, man, out of all the people we went to high school with, you were the one I thought was getting out." He told me that. He said, "You're the one that's going to get out. You're going to, you're in high school. I was doing musicals. I was getting leads. I was doing solos in choir. Everybody knew me as a singer. And then I go back to the neighborhood and, I'm overweight. I'm like a shell of my former self." And so I felt like I disappointed a lot of people, man. So it was sad. I felt like an underachiever. I felt like, just like a disappointment. Who wants to put themselves through that? And so it was, Life Was Nothing But an Awful Song. And, I'm just sitting in that for a minute, cause it hits, man. It hurts. But I came out on either side, brother, from the bottom to the top. Right. But, so there's another line in there, lyric, and it says, "The meaning of true love." And so what is true love? True love is finding your significant other, the feeling that you have when you find someone. True love is the love you have for your kids or your parents or your BFF. But to me, that meaning of true love is loving yourself. And so for me, putting the oxygen mask on myself first, that's the meaning of true love and what it means to me in that lyric. And so, man, that hit me. That hit me right there. Keeping it real with you guys. So I had to see it. So the next lyric in there that I wanted to highlight is, "If I can see it, then I can do it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly," right? I had to believe it. I had to have faith. I had to have hope. What is faith, right? Faith in something is like when you walk down the stairs in the dark, you have faith that the next step is there before you get to it. It's faith in something that you don't know for sure, but you just feel it. And I had to have hope and faith that I was going to do it. I was going to make a change. And so I finally realized that I had to believe in myself, and it was a hard reality that I had to wake up. I got to be here for my kids, my wife, my loved ones, a lot of people caring to love me, and I had to make a change. And so there's another lyric in here that says, "A miracle starts inside of me." And what I realized was I had everything I needed already. I just needed to make that decision to make a change. No more autopilot. You ever have times in your life, man, where you just feel like you're going through the motions and you're on autopilot and you're not engaged in
Absolutely.
right?
I think we all do.
I think everybody does. I mean, sometimes that's a good thing. You settle in, to like, okay, guess I'm a dad now. Cool. Football games, this and that. I'm, going to this and that. And every day is not going to be a home run. And that's okay. Not every day's got to be 10, right? It can be like a 9, 8, 7, whatever. But no more autopilot. For me, what was autopilot? Half-assing. Doing just enough to get by. And being an underachiever, man. Being an underachiever, not believing in myself, all that stuff. So there's another line in the song, and it says, "I believe in me." So other parts of the song, I believe in you. And then there's a point where he says, "I believe in me." And that's really for me, the crescendo of the lyrics is I just realized I had everything I needed. I already had it. It was all perspective. I changed my mindset. Part of my journey is not just about getting healthy, man. It's also mindset. Man, I put in some work, man. I've listened to a lot of motivational speakers. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. I listen to him a ton. Jocko Willink. CT Fletcher, man, CT Fletcher speaks to my soul, man. He's a beast.
What's his tagline?
It's still your motherfucking set.
We'll beep that out. We'll beep it out.
You gonna beep that out?
No, I don't think we have to.
I don't know. Maybe you don't.
All right, now say it with your chest.
It's still your motherfucking set. But man, he just, I don't know what it is, man, about working out. I respond to the boot camp style, man. I'm not like, you're not going to see me in a Zumba class or like in Pilates.
I can see you in a Zumba class.
I mean, I could see myself. It's not going to be pretty. I just ain't got the moves for that. No, I respond to someone yelling at me. Get your ass out there and work. It's still your set. Lift that weight. Let's go. Fourth quarter.
So that's what gets you going.
That's what gets me going. I don't know why. Just that's how. You know why? Because I'm a gentle giant in terms of like my size or whatever. I'm more passive. I'll try to talk my way out of something. I'm no punk. If it goes down, I'm gonna handle my business. But like boot camp style. That's why I like CrossFit, because when you go, it's all about intensity. It's all about pushing yourself to the limit. And when you leave there, you just feel so accomplished. But I don't know where I was going with that. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, CT Fletcher. I follow him a lot. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher. Guy is amazing. Guy is so amazing. So I have probably learned more and changed my mindset more than my physical body. Like, I've lost over 150 pounds. I'm singing again. I'm happier, all that stuff. But I've changed mostly in my mindset. I find the positive in anything, man. And you know why? Because I don't listen to negative stuff anymore. I was telling someone, when I go to the gym and I work out and I'm doing bro reps, I have a hard time listening to the old hip hop songs I used to love to listen to, because everything they're talking about I can't relate to anymore, like anger, rage. Let's just say subject matter that I just can't relate to anymore. I'm a positive dude. And so I'm like, man, can I listen to positive stuff now? I'm not saying everything is going to be like beats and like, you can do it. I'm not saying that, but you can do anything. Get that weight up, man.
You're great.
You're great. Lift that weight. No, but I want to listen to stuff that's not like talking about killing people and beating up people. And what was one? I love the track. Some of the songs are good. Walk a Flock of Flame. Hard in the Paint.
That's a good song.
Yeah, that song comes on, I just get fired up, man. I just want to do something. Just gets me going, man. That's my. I'm a clown, guys. It's coming out of me as the podcast goes on. You can see I'm a character, but yeah, that song just makes me want to get out there and really do something special. But man, he's talking about like suicide and killing people and pop, shoot them with the clip, all that stuff. And I don't know. That's cool once in a while, but I do believe words matter and what you tell yourself matters. And if you listen to a bunch of negative stuff, subconsciously it has an impact on you. So I like the beats. I find myself listening more now, like inspirational, like beats. And what's kind of cool now is you can listen to, there's this guy, he's a DJ. I think his name is Akira the Don. Akira, Akira the Don. And he takes speeches by Jocko Willink, Joe Rogan. Man, the one with Joe Rogan's blazing, man. It gets me going. So, and he puts like futuristic beats behind it while these speeches are going on. And one of them is really awesome. It's Joe Rogan, and he's talking about be the hero of your own story. It's like one of his popular, like if you go on TikTok and Joe Rogan, like it's the one that they always play, like be the hero of your own story. It's okay to say you came up. Everyone's got to, Bino's a hero of his own story, man, right? But he plays like cool beats behind it, but it's inspirational words and talking. And so, man, I'll run 2 miles and I'll put that on and I'm going.
Those are like hype tracks.
It's hype tracks, man. Like Eric Thomas has like albums. This guy's been out like, he motivates. I saw him at a convention for business people in New Orleans, and I was introduced to him. I'm like, man, this guy's great. He does like Pop Warner football, like college football, motivates them, goes there in the preseason, and he motivates him, tells him about grinding and mindset and all that stuff. It's some heavy stuff, and it's aggressive. It's very aggressive, but some people need to be punched in the face to get the best out of them. It's just how people respond. So that's how I respond. But yeah, so I listen to a lot of positive stuff now. So I've done more mentally in changing who I am as a person. Like if I was going to go back and talk to people from high school, I wouldn't even be able to relate. I'm just completely different. So I've changed how I think, and it's permeated every other area of my life. I've got a ton of inspiration music, but so bringing it back around, R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly. It's a classic song. It means a lot to me, and we've been talking about getting this first episode out of the way for some time, and we finally did it. But I have been listening to it just about daily, practicing and singing it, because we got some ideas. I'm gonna go out and do some Flashmob singing and just bust out with this song. Spring is here and people are going to be out in droves, and I'm just going to start flash mobbing and putting videos up. It's going to be kind of cool. But I've been practicing this song, but it's been making me think about everything I knew I was going to talk about today. And even today, it inspires me, man. It inspires me. And putting all this content out, I want to share, because I think about this, all the stuff that I've put out. And really, I've been doing a lot of videos the last 6 months. At the end of last year, I did a weight loss challenge, a get healthy challenge. Every week I put up a video. I was putting stuff out like every day, memes and pictures and quotes and motivational stuff. I'm not doing that because I'm full of myself. I do that because I want to share it. I can't, everything that I'm doing, guys, I can't take it with me. When I'm gone and they put the dirt on me, if I didn't share that with anyone, with my kids, my family, my friends, I can't take it with me, man. So by putting it out there like this, if one person gets something from it, is inspired, even if it's entertained, man, that means everything to me. How awesome is that, right? You get to pay it forward. That's also important for me too, is to share this journey with other people, man.
Yeah, positivity is very contagious.
It is. It's contagious, and positivity gets it's not what gets ratings. The last time I watched the news, at least a year.
Yeah, it's unbearable to watch.
Unbearable. The last time I watched the news was when COVID broke originally, because I was that dude. I was like on lockdown, militant, thought I was going to die, thought the world was going to end. And so I was like, I got to be, I got to protect the house. I was watching the news every day. And there was a point where it started to get real political, and I'm not really a political guy. And I was like, you know what? How come every time I watch this, give me one day where I watch the news and I turn it off and I'm happy? Or I'm like, man, I got some good information. I'm gonna live. It was none of that. Every day I'd watch the news, it was negative. So negativity gets ratings, drama gets ratings. But what about positive? What about positive ratings? Maybe we'll get some ratings. Maybe we'll get some followers because we're putting good stuff out there, guys. Trying to be positive. I know I'm being a little knucklehead in this process, but that's me. Told you we're gonna keep it real. We keeps it real. But anyways. So I Believe I Can Fly. That's the song I picked. It means something special to me. And it's been a heck of a journey, guys. It's been a heck of a journey in my life. Heck of a journey in music and singing. Rediscovering myself, my identity. It's been a journey to get healthy. To not get down on myself and to get positive. It's been a journey to share and not be so private. I used to be such a private person. I would tell my wife, don't tell people. Don't tell them this. Don't tell them that. I still do that. I think I did that today about something. So I'm not perfect. But I'm like, don't tell them. I was so private about everything. And then that first time I put something out that I was nervous about, I think I put a picture up of me without my shirt on.
Ow.
Right? I was like, well, what's up? What's up?
So how did she take that?
When we do the podcast about couples that fight, no, but so I was like, I remember I was at the gym and I just had like a good session, and I'm like, I'm gonna put a picture up with my shirt off. Now this is a dude that used to be almost 400 pounds. I didn't take my shirt off at home, I took a picture and put it up, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna get haters. I didn't get no haters, man. Positive.
All positive?
I mean, yes. It was positive, man. It it was positive, man. I was like, man, I kind of like this, but not just because it's not about attention. It's about a little bit of validating that it's so like I'm doing the right things. You know, like a lot of what I'm doing is not about bragging. I watch this stuff, man. You know, I did, and we'll talk about it in future episodes, but I did a weight loss healthy challenge at the midway point of last year. Every week I was going to post a video and I was going to talk about, you know, hey, this week I lost a pound. This week I lost 2 pounds. I weighed myself every week. You know, I still go back and I watch those videos, man. Today I was watching one, the last day of the year. Car broke down. I ended up running 2 miles in the freezing cold, ice out, snow out in the ground. And it gave me inspiration, man. It gave me strength. And I go back and I watch this stuff now. And so like, man, you know, you can hack the internet and make it positive. Social media doesn't have to be negative. It can be positive. Like that algorithm, you know, that algorithm everyone talks about, like, what's that show on Netflix? It talks about social media and like the algorithm.
The Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma, yep.
That was a really good documentary.
It's scary, but
terrifying.
Like they got you. My wife was telling me today, they were talking about something and like she saw an ad about it like an hour later. And she was talking to someone. They're listening at all times. So what are the ads that are going to pop up in my phone after this episode? I'm going to see a lot of clips about Genuine, American Idol. Yeah.
Next.
Where was I going with that? I don't know. I lost my train of thought, man. I'm human. Oh, positivity. You can hack the algorithm. So I unfollowed all the negative stuff on Instagram. I unfollowed or hid anybody that has like troll or political rants. Unfollowed all of them. Everything on all my social media is positive. So you can hack it. So now when I go on social media, it's only like inspirational stuff. I'll look at social media in the morning and it's not drama or whatever. It's this puppy was saved. They got this cat out of a tree. Or there's a vaccine that's coming out tomorrow. It's going to save all these lives. Like you can hack it. So I surround myself, like my circle of influence and the people I'm around, it's all positive people, man. And just to talk about like CrossFit for a minute, man, I can't say enough about it. Hey, if you're out and you're working out, you already won because you're doing something positive. But man, the community I'm around, they're just awesome. Awesome. I got my shirt on here. I'll talk a little bit about this. So anyways, wrapping up, I Believe I Can Fly. That's the song I picked. But I'm going to go down this path a little bit and just talk about CrossFit because I love it. I got my CrossFit hat right here, CrossFit Games. I got my...
Is it your hat?
You know what, Norm?
There's rumors floating around. I don't know.
It's not... All right. It's my first lie that I have told on this show. It's actually my wife's hat. It's unisexual, though. It's a unisex hat. It's... That's messed up that you guys like double teamed and set me up. My first episode, and you got to do that to me. We'll talk about this after, man. We're gonna get
stay positive.
I'm supposed to be this positive dude, and like right now, I'm flexing. I'm kind of frustrated. But anyways, so my shirt is the CrossFit Open 2021, and so Al Nevada and Box Rat, he makes these shirts, pretty awesome. He does good shirts, and so this is from the Open. Man, can I tell you the support that you get in the CrossFit community is amazing. I have not met anyone that's negative. You know, you go into these, I also have a regular gym membership at a local spot, the big box gyms, you know, the bro rep gyms. And you get people, and I see it. You look around and they're judgy or they're looking at you and that's all the weight you're lifting, whatever. I'm being stupid. But at CrossFit, it's not like that at all. You walk in there and it's like no matter what walk of life, no matter where you're at in your fitness, everybody's got something to work on. And I walked in there and from the beginning, open arms, supportive. And so with this CrossFit Open, there's 3 weeks. Everyone does the same workout. And all I hear while I'm lifting this weight and I'm doing pull-ups and having personal records, I'm like, Bino, you can do this. You got this. Let's go. Positive. I never walk out of a CrossFit gym feeling bad.
Or self-conscious.
Or self-conscious, absolutely. I'm doing my best. And when I travel, I try to find a CrossFit. They call them boxes in CrossFit. I try to find a CrossFit box whenever I travel. And no one's negative at those either. It's like a thing.
No, it's definitely an amazing community. I actually left all the other big box gyms once I joined the CrossFit gym that we go to.
Yeah. Yeah. And also too, man, if you're just thinking about time, like you go in there and you leave in an hour. Like I go to this other gym once in a while on the weekends to like do the, bro reps and different stuff. And I'll be in there 3 hours. I'll spend I'll go hot tub, sauna, I'll shoot some hoops, hit the treadmill, elliptical, hit some weights, look in the mirror, 3 hours. Go to CrossFit, in and out 1 hour. Stretch, warm up, workout, loosen up at the end, all in 1 hour. It's great. But anyways, super supportive people over there. CrossFit Caliber. I want to send a shout out to them in Streamwood. Arnell is our fearless leader over there. And man, it's really changed my life. And there's days when I'm frustrated or I've got that angst and that stress. They put you through one of these workouts, like if you do like Murph or DT, or one of these killer workouts, these open workouts, this 21.2, the second workout, you did it. We all did it. You were down and out for days, man.
Yeah, a couple of days.
Were you thinking about anything else except why does my back hurt so much?
I was trying to figure out a plan to get on and off the toilet.
But you weren't thinking about how life sucked and like how you just, did you feel accomplished that you did it?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you feel inspired?
I did. I want to do it again next year.
You want to do it again and do better, right? Right. And then that like there were probably things in there you didn't think you could do that you did. I know you had your performances. I had performances I did really well. Other ones I could do better next time, but that's the whole point. And I'll say this, why I think it's so special, man, is when you do hard shit, and I'm just going to say it like that, when you do hard shit with other people, you build a bond.
I absolutely agree.
It's like, think about like family, right? So family, they see you at your best. They see you at your worst, but they still love you anyway, right? You go to CrossFit and they see you on the ground and, I'm this big dude, right? I'm on the ground. I can't do another push-up. I'm face down. There was a workout we did and it was wall walks, and I did a scaled version, which is like a easier version that's at my fitness level where I just had to get my feet on the wall. There was a point where I was so dead. Everyone was just face down in a plank, couldn't even move. Like athletes face down in a plank, body could not move because they were just gassed. And people were supportive. You're in this like in this unbecoming position. And people are like, come on, you got one more rep. Let's go, get up. And so when you're at that point where you're like, the only thing I can compare it to, and I've never been in the military, so I don't mean it as like any disrespect, but like if you go through like in the military, and I told you I follow Jocko Willink. He talks about that too. When you're in the military and you go through war with someone or you go through a battle with someone, like they're your brother. Like you're in the military, you're in the Marines, like they're your brothers. Like they're tighter in a lot of cases than their family, right? So you go through hard stuff together, you build a connection. And so, I build a connection with these people and they've been super supportive. Even like I put these videos up and, we get together and we have like parties and stuff. And there was one time we were at the CrossFit gym and we sang Bohemian Rhapsody. That was awesome. We're in the gym and I think we put the karaoke song on. Is this the real life? Man, we had like 15 people. We were like 15 deep partying, having the time of our life, man. I'd be excited when we go back to the old way things were, right? Connection, the new normal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I can't wait for that. But yeah, so hey, CrossFit changed my life. Got the shirt here, CrossFit Open. I'll probably talk about that throughout. Got my hat at various times. I also coach now too. Believe it or not, man, your boy came up. Not only did I lose this weight, positive mindset, and I don't just do CrossFit, I actually coach now. So like there were days like when I started coaching in the beginning that I would think to myself, why is this person going to take feedback from me? Who am I? Like, and people ask me for advice, like nutrition advice, diet advice. How do I do this rep? You know what that does to someone? Like I've thought to myself sometimes like, man, they're taking my advice. Like, how can I help this person? I'm different, man. I'm different now. So it means a lot, I tell you. But anyways, I tried to, in this episode, to just pour my heart out and to be honest with you, share a little bit about myself. And so I appreciate you taking the ride with me. And we're going to do a lot more episodes like this. We've got some other ideas that we want to do, so I'm looking forward to that. At this point, just want to give some shouts out at the end to Norm. Hey man, just want to say thanks for helping to spark, awaken the beast.
Absolutely, anytime.
And doing this, and OTN Presents. Check them out. You also got another podcast you're doing, right?
Yeah, we're doing a sports one.
Sports
from
one?
the perspective of dads, I guess.
Okay. What's the name of that one? You want to plug?
It's
it?
Put the Ball Down podcast.
Put the Ball Down podcast. What's that about?
Just two dads. We coach football. We have kids that play sports, and just our spin on what's going on in the sports world, whether it's in the pros or just local leagues in the area.
Okay.
It's people just trying to stay active in sports during all these tough times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. Check it out.
Keeping it positive.
Keeping it positive. Sticking with the positivity. So Box Rat 2, say what's up, Al, with the shirts. Does a great job there. If you're looking for some custom work, he does a great job. Also, CrossFit Caliber in Streamwood, Arnell, our fearless leader. Check him out, or just look up CrossFit guys. It'll change your life. Definitely change your life. Let me see. What was that? Oh yeah. So, just some liner notes that we had, guys. I want to. Let me mention this. I got it here. I got the book actually on my desk, and I didn't even mention it to you guys. Some of the inspiration for doing this podcast is there's a book I got on Amazon. It's called The Mixtape of My Life. I got it on Amazon. It's from Robert K. Elder. The Mixtape of My Life. And in it, it's got questions. It's got elements of what we're doing here, but it's got questions that ask you about songs and influences in your life. I don't know, I'm just going to flip through here and just pick a question. Let's see. All right, here's one. What's the best bit of philosophy offered by a song? How did it affect your life? So I wrote in there, I haven't written in this book yet, I believe I can fly. Philosophy. Believe in yourself. Fitting, right? What's another one in here? Let's see here. What's your favorite Disney movie song? Like if you had to think of a Disney movie. Let me go through a couple of these questions real quick because I think it's just fun. Just to let you know how music is special. So Norm, I'm going to ask you, man, I'm going to put you on the spot. Come on, you got kids. What's your favorite Disney song? Do you have
Disney
one?
or any kid song?
You know
Disney?
what? We're just going to say, we're not going to stick to the Disney brand. Any song from a cartoon. Come on, you don't like Frozen? Let it go, let it go.
Oh, just let it go.
That doesn't hit you? That doesn't get you?
No, I let that go a long time ago.
You let that one go a long time ago?
Anything from The Lion King.
Lion King. Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
Yeah, that, The Circle of Life.
Circle
I love
of
Lion
Life. Can you feel the love tonight? Right? So, cool question, right? So here, check this book out. It's pretty awesome. Mixtape of My Life. I think it's like $10 you get on Amazon. But that also was part of the inspiration too for the Jamcast. But I want to ask you guys this. So this song gives me hope. I believe I can fly, right? What song gives you hope? So this is the question that I'm going to put out there. And I hope that you'll be honest and reply back. What song gives you hope? What's the song that you listen to on your darkest day that when you hear it, it inspires you or it makes you think, you know what? I can do this. I'm getting up. I'm going to the gym, or I'm going to keep going. I'm going to call that person and reconcile that relationship or whatever. It just gives you hope. What's that song? Go ahead and throw it on our pages. You can check us out. We're on YouTube. Put it up on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook. We'll be on Instagram as well. And so we'll have a playlist, all the songs that we talked about today. We'll put that on Spotify as well, and all these links like that. We'll put them in the notes there as well. So I think I'm about to wrap up, man. I think this is the end of our first episode, man.
How do you feel?
Man, I feel like cathartic, man. I just feel like I just exercised the demons. I just got a bunch of stuff off my chest. I feel like the little old lady in the Poltergeist. This house is clear.
You feel like a little old lady?
I feel like a little old lady right now. I feel like I exorcised the demons, brother. It's awesome. And this is going out to everybody out there in TV land, so I can't take it back now.
No, you can't.
Exactly. But I'm going to learn from it, guys. Honestly, I'm just happy to get this started. I'm a firm believer in life. You either win or you learn. So we'll see if you guys think I won on this first episode and we got a good thing going here. You're going to let me know one way or the other. But I'm hoping to just learn, go back and critique myself. We'll come back with another episode. Before you know it, this thing's going to get popping. It's going to be going. And who knows where this whole thing is going. But I made a commitment to myself. I wasn't going to look back. I was going to go forward in all areas of my life. And this is one of them. We're doing the Bino Salazar Jamcast. OTM presents Norman Perez doing it real big. Bino Salazar doing it real big and sexy. And that's all I have to say about that.
Cue the genuine music.
Cue the genuine music. 9 o'clock. Next.
Beep, 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 beep.
Beep, 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 beep. Holla at your boy, Bino Salazar. Out.